So this book popped up in my house. It's in perfect condition. This book is, I'm not sure what it's called. It's kind of faded, but it's called a handy. But anyway, on page Q20, it has a spot called the annual tour. If you read this at the bottom, it says, the action, a busload of members start out a trip, a year's program. When they try to crank the engine, it gives a few sputters, firing a cap pistol, and stops. An up-to-date president comes along and gets them started. The wheels immediately begin to turn. Someone back of the framework holds each umbrella. They run along smoothly for a few minutes when a terrific explosion is heard. Explode a giant cap and let air out of the squawk balloon, aka a head, which makes a lucrative imitation and the air going out of the tire. The player holding the rear umbrella slowly closes it and have a blowout. What does this sound like? Now keep in mind, this is from 1925. Right there. So if the book was written in 1925 and it explains the JFK assassination to a T, then why is this book written in 25 and why did JFK die at this date? Not to mention, if you read that paragraph, it says the bus signified the explosion. What is the opposite of bus? A sub. What just happened in our time? A sub exploded.
Reporting the submersible that disappeared during a dive to the Titanic on Sunday.
But anyway, on page Q20, it has a spot called the annual. Look, y'all. And I went to the moon. Look at their GTA 3 graphics. If you go bust that fucking meteorite over there, will a fucking Dodge Viper come out? Look, they even put stars in the background. We put stars. We put the star in the background. You want to see the genius ass motherfuckers that make this happen? We did the thing at the place. Look at this guy. He knows it's bullshit. He's wearing his Adidas jacket. All day I dream about satellites. Every time we almost got it figured out, they fucking confused the rest of the world and they're like, fuck. We need another person to go to the moon for the first time. Everyone to go Google, what does the North Pole look like? Go look it up.
Welcome. I wanted to show these three maps today. One is from 1595. This one here is from 1606. Let's see, this one is the 1595, and this one is also 1606. So I want to focus on a few different points. First of all, an interesting point here is we have Greenland with no ice, and that's pretty interesting to have charted mountains and rivers, and even right here we can see some towns, one town, two towns. That's how they mark their towns, as you can see in Iceland here, which is spelled island at the time. Many towns, and totally ice free. And again, this would be 1606. And yeah, you get an idea of what the towns look like, what the forests look like. And what I wanted to focus on was this little island here called, it appears as if it's called Freeland here, but at times it's called Friesland.
Destination, North Pole.
The North Pole.
North Pole.
You can't actually see the North Pole, or the South Pole for that matter, on Google Maps. And this is because the map that Google and almost every other map online uses stops at 85 degrees north and south. The Mercator projection created by this guy in the 1500s was used for ship navigation to show the accurate direction between 2 points. Its square shape also made it easy to split the world up into tiny square tiles, making maps load faster, which is why Google chose it for their maps. The downside is that it distorts everything near the top and the bottom of the Earth, making it nearly useless at the poles, which is why
to solve Earth's final puzzle, Icy Crocker Island. And then you see this map of like the North Pole, and right next to it, the theoretical location of Crocker Land, a lost continent that was supposed to be right next to the North Pole. This is the early 1900s. It's a time when the world map has been thoroughly explored and documented. There were just a few places that were still kind of blank, and this was one of them. The high north, an icy ocean that was incredibly difficult to get through. But people thought there was this North Polar continent, unexplored for now, but people wanted to get in on it. They wanted to see what was up here. And in fact, a couple explorers roaming around this area had reported seeing land up here. It created this frenzy, this wonder. Was there a lost polar continent up near the North Pole? I want to show you the story of how this all went down. It's the story of the explorers who decided to go into the most impossible terrain on Earth just to explore it. And it led to a passionate rivalry between these two dudes with big egos. It's full of fake photos and smear campaigns, and it was kind of like the space race of the day. A race to see who could be the first to get to the top of the world. New US consulate in Nuuk. After saying they planned to buy the country, the Trump administration backed down after Denmark was like, hell no, get out of here, and instead took a different approach. They ramped up efforts to build relations between Greenland and the United States, building mutual economic interests, which resulted in the opening of this consulate just in 2020. The US now has a diplomatic presence, a physical presence in Greenland, this big frozen island that no global superpower really thought was that important until recently.
I'm pleased to announce we will reopen our consulate in Nuuk, Greenland this summer for the first time since 1953.
So this actually reminds me of a story I did a while back when I was up in the Arctic for Vox Borders, and I was visiting a Russian consulate on this little island. And it truly never ceases to surprise me that in an era of like sophisticated alliances and like international institutions and like sophisticated military weaponry, we still resort to just putting human bodies and buildings in places that we want to have influence in. Like it's a board game. Some things will never change.
Tá fresco. Uy, la sombra del fresnito pega bien.
Alright, so I've been meaning to answer these questions all day, but I woke up feeling like shit, and they've been working on our AC all day, and it sounds like the roof is falling. But I'm gonna answer a couple of them before they go away. My day is going great. Woke up feeling a little nauseous, but we were making the best of it. And I'm dropping an album next month. Probably the last Friday of September. But I don't actually know. So we will see. Honestly, not a fan. I don't know enough about her to have thoughts on her, but did y'all see that weird ass shit where everybody at her concert got hit with some type of surge of energy? What was that? What was that? Actually, yes, because it is 98 degrees outside today and our AC is broken. So, yes. And I'm ready for these mosquitoes.
His blue eyes make me feel as if I could breathe underwater. His warm touch convinces me I could walk through the fire. All I needed was his love. Hold me now, please don't let me down. This is what real love is made of. Let's drive till we're out of bounds. The moon couldn't light up the world the way you do. It ain't got shit on you. And I could buy the fastest Mustang in the world, but I get the best adrenaline from me.
Absolutely, I will be dropping glosses and candles with the album at the end of next month.
But I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. Morning rain fogged my window. Now I can't see it all. And even if I could, it would all be great. But your picture's on my wall. Wipe your cheekbone. He said cowgirls don't cry. Can't slow down, gotta keep on this road of good.